Today we're going to be taking a look at Daniel Martell. He is the stepfather of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, two children from Nova Scotia who are still currently missing. Daniel recently has done an interview and we're going to be breaking down his body language, behavior, and communication. Let's take a look.
I know it would be a big help in the case and kind of narrow down maybe some of the speculations and just provide more evidence.
As always, these are my own thoughts and opinions. I'm simply stating what I see and observe. I'm not accusing Daniel of being guilty nor innocent. So the first thing I notice in this clip is that Daniel is speaking in present tense. He says, "I know it'd be a big help in the case." And he's talking about a recent polygraph that he had done. So it's a bit odd. Daniel does sort of have a weird way of speaking at times, and I'm saying that based on some of his previous interviews. Now we can understand that Daniel is presumably under a lot of stress. He is in front of cameras. He's speaking to a journalist who is asking him questions on the spot that he is not prepared for. And, you know, the stakes are pretty high in this situation. The second thing that I notice is that Daniel uses a lot of filler words.
Kind of narrow down maybe some of the
speculations. It's a bit of an odd way of phrasing things. You'd think he might say narrow down some of the suspects. Instead, he lands on speculations. Just a strange way of phrasing things. So I'm not going to say that that's necessarily a red flag. The other thing that I want to note here is that it is a bit of an awkward phrase to say provide more evidence.
Provide more evidence.
I can understand where Daniel is coming from. He's saying that he's providing evidence to the police by conducting the polygraph test, and that is hopefully exonerating him as a suspect. As for his body language here, we do see that Daniel is standing in almost direct sunlight. We can see the sun hitting the side of his head, and his eyebrows have come together. He's kind of trying to block out some of that sunlight. One of the other things that I want to point out in this particular segment is that Daniel says provide more evidence. He subtly shakes his head no. I had to really slow this video down. And that subtle shake no, that is an incongruent gesture to what he's saying, and that to me is a bit of a red flag. He should be saying provide more evidence and nodding in agreement to that statement. He might be feeling some sort of disbelief towards that. I'm not sure why he would subtly do that, almost as if he couldn't believe it. Provide more evidence.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean, I have nothing but time to just think.
So in this next segment, Daniel is speaking about how he's gone from having a family of 7 to just him.
Just me, I mean.
So we do see a lip retraction here. Daniel's lips kind of go in and he does a bit of a mouth shrug. This could be some uncertainty towards what he's thinking or saying. He goes a family of 7 to just me. Sometimes when I see certain body language patterns or I see certain gestures, I try and make that expression myself just to see what emotion it provokes. And we don't have the context of what the interviewer has asked Daniel here. We also have to understand that these segments have been edited down. The news station has determined which piece of the interview they are going to show. However, I do think that it's extremely concerning that Daniel is in this moment actually asking for sympathy for him. He's not talking about Lilly and Jack. We haven't heard their names mentioned in this segment at all from him, and instead he's asking you to feel bad for him.
I have nothing but time to just think.
Additionally, Daniel says, I have nothing but time. That is also a bit concerning to me. If you have nothing but time when your children are missing, you should be using that time to be searching for them. You should be using that time to go on social media and ask for help. You should be doing everything in your ability to get those children back. So it is concerning that he says, I have nothing but time, ... to think.
I have nothing but time to just think.
Again, we do see some subtle shaking of the head here, and we also have the shoulders coming up and down a few times, and that can suggest that Daniel might be feeling a little bit uncertain about what it is that he's saying, a little bit of uncertainty around feeling alone, around feeling as though he has nothing but time. So this last segment is perhaps the biggest red flag of them all. Daniel is saying that he hasn't even got to see his own children yet.
I haven't even got to see my own kids. Not even Meadow yet. But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
There's a vocal emphasis on my own children. We hear an upward inflection there. He's creating a distinction between his own children and the children that have gone missing, the stepchildren. Again, that is a major red flag to me. I would think that if you are a step-parent to children, that those children become your own children, and therefore your own children are the stepchildren as well. We haven't heard him mention Lily or Jack's name in this segment. We haven't heard any pleas for help from the community. We haven't heard, you know, if you have any information. Again, if you've seen anything, this is what they look like. Please, you know, we're trying everything. All of those are behaviors that I would expect to see from a parent who has missing children.
But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
The final red flag here is that Daniel says, I'm still hopeful. However, he doesn't say I'm still hopeful that Jack and Lily will be found and returned safely. Instead, he says, I'm still hopeful because he's going to have a supervised visit under CPS with his own children. It's just all a little bit strange. Daniel has been in front of the cameras a number of times, and again, I'm not here to say that Daniel is guilty, nor am I saying that he is innocent. I'm simply telling you some of the behavior and body language that I see in this interview. Now, if you liked this coverage, I'm going to be continuing to follow this case. I'm also going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks so that you can follow along and also break down some body language, behavior, and communication. Please feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below.